Anyone? Yes, Rinku. Yes.
Ma'am, she was the first physician of Italy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you're on the right track. Continue. Okay, good job, Rinku. Anybody else who would like to add anything to it? Okay, no problem. We will all learn about Madame Montessori together. Okay, all right. So, Madame Montessori, as Rinku said, was the first physician in Italy, okay, who used to work with specially abled children. It is only later that she went ahead and opened the school for children, which is known as the Casa di Bambini, the House of Children. Okay. Now, in that school, did she only work with the specially abled children? No. She worked with all children, and the best part of it was she was able to observe the children as they were. And when she observed, of course, there were helpers. The Montessori method, as we know today, that was not done in a day. It was only through observation and what she derived by watching the children at work. Children at work, okay? Meaningful work in activities. That we have the Montessori system as we know today. The Montessori is broadly divided into EPL, exercises of practical life. Then we have sensorial, which educates the senses. What are your senses? That is your eyes for vision, your ears for listening, your nose for smelling, your tongue for tasting, and your fingers for touching tactile moments. Okay, it's a very scientific process, and that is the reason a method which was found years ago, okay, it's still relevant today. Why? Because it is so scientific. So we are going to dive into the Montessori method step by step, and I can assure you such a beautiful method. Why? Because it actually engages the student, and it is so scientific that it is still very meaningful in today's world. Okay, all right. So, two very important things before I go ahead. One is the absorbent mind, and second is the education of senses before we teach the intellect. Okay, so first is absorbent mind. I have earlier given this example of a wet sponge, I'm sorry, a dry sponge in on a wet surface. So what is going to happen? The dry sponge is going to absorb what? What is going to happen, guys, if I'm going to place a dry sponge on a wet surface? What is going to happen?
Absorb the water.
The sponge absorbs
Water.
the wetness.
Right, it is going to absorb the water. Similarly, when a child is born, then the child absorbs information from the environment without discriminating it to be a good information or a bad information. Now, this information that is there, how is this child absorbing this? Okay, for example, if the child is something touches something hot, immediately it withdraws the hand. So touch, right? So this is hot. That is a lesson for the child. By tasting different things, by smelling, vision, color. Okay, so all those things helps the child to take the information in and then process it. So first is the education of the senses, and then the intellect, the logical processing happens. Clear? So far so good, guys. And this is known as absorbent mind. And we first teach the intellect, I'm sorry, we first educate the senses and then we teach the intellect. So far so good. All of us are on the same page. Yeah. Now I'm going to start the screen sharing with you all, and we are going to read what we have just discussed. And why I am unable to find that out for you, allow me 1 minute, guys. Okay. Maybe this is the one. So, okay. I've started the screen sharing. It is going to come up. Let me know if you're able to see the screen. Okay. Are you able to see the screen, guys?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, good job. All right. So we are here. Now, to start, let us read this very quickly. Uh, my humble request to all of you is to join the class on time. As you know, then, it is a diversion from what I'm doing. So, admit all. I have to admit them, guys. Just wait. I'm trying to admit. Okay. I think I have admitted. Okay. All right. So, all of you, can you see the system? Good. So now, um, let's read. Maria Montessori was an Italian physician, educator, innovator, acclaimed for her educational method that builds on the way her children naturally learn. She opened the first Montessori school, the Casa dei Bambini, or Children's House in Rome, on the January 6th, 1907. Subsequently, she traveled the world and wrote extensively about her approach to education, attracting many devotees. There are now more than 22,000 Montessori schools in at least 110 countries worldwide. Maria Montessori was born on August 31st, 1870, in the provincial town of Chevrolet, Italy. Her father was a financial manager for a state run industry. Her mother was raised in a family that prized education. She was well schooled and an avid reader, unusual for the Italian women of that time. The same thirst for knowledge took root in young Maria, and she immersed herself in many fields of study before creating the educational method that bears her name. Beginning in her early childhood years, Maria grew up in Rome, a paradise of libraries, museums, and fine schools. Now, what you are going to learn is just the points that we have discussed. She was the first female physician in Italy. Montessori concepts in both of is both a philosophy of child development and a plan for guiding growth, believing that education begins at birth and the early years of utmost importance to absorb in mind. Sensitive periods in which the children curiosity makes them read for acquiring certain knowledge and skills. Great emphasis on the environment, a sense of order, a place of everything, a clear rational. Most important contribution, a prepared environment, self-correcting and sequential material. Teaching based on observation, a trust in children innate ability to learn. Now we'll go one by one. See, discipline is not a very bad thing at all. I know the word discipline might sound very stern. How many of you are averse to the word discipline? What it means to you? To follow certain rules, regulations? Yes, no, maybe, anything? Yes, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So now, yes, you are right. To follow certain rules and regulation, not because somebody is keeping a watch on you, because everything, everything in the nature follows a certain rule. Now imagine the sun decides one morning, I'm rising every morning and shining. Let me not do that. I have a Sunday, isn't it? It's a Sunday and the sun is still working. Have you ever thought about it? right? The earth moves in its orbit around the sun. The sun decides one fine day, I am not going to follow this particular route. Let me just go through the opposite direction. It doesn't happen that way. If it happens, then the calamities are on us, right? So discipline is not a bad word. Everything in the nature has a place, has an order. The sense of order has not it needs to be realized not by us but also by the children, and in their formative years, when the children are open to learning. How many of you do prepare rotis or bread, flat bread? Many of us. Can we raise our hands? There is this icon at the bottom panel. Let me see. Okay. Rinku also knows, yes. Okay. All right. Many of you knows how to prepare bread, right? How many of you played with Play-Doh? How many of you have played with Play-Doh? Dough. You can give them any shape or size you want to. How many of you played with mud? Simple mud, right? Okay. So you can give shape to anything you want to when the mud is soft, right? That is the only time you can give the shape you want to. So when the children are young, the ages, the sensitive period 1 to 6, you can instill in them the qualities, the principles, the good practices that you want them to learn growing up. As and when the child grows up, they are 9 years of age, they are already tackling the adolescent period, going towards it. Now, in the 21st century, the people are exposed to quite a number of things all at once, and so it takes place very early, right? So they are balancing a lot of things, the hormones, things that is changing in their life, new things accepting their own selves. On top of that, you want them to make the bed for themselves, arrange their clothes. That becomes a chore. If that could have been, you could have introduced them, made it a habit for them to participate in the daily chores from the very beginning, then this problem would not have arrived. Because now they are seeing this as an extra chore. But if they have done this from a very young age, that could have been a part of life. Agreed? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. So there comes EPL, exercises of practical life,
Yes, ma'am.
when yes, when you are encouraging the child to participate in the daily chore or activities. Okay, why is that important? That is important because not only does it increases the attention span, it helps in the um, neuromotor coordination. There are two kinds of muscles. One is gross motor muscles, fine muscles. It helps in strengthening that balance, coordination, attention, many things together. Okay. So all those things are absolutely important for the child as and when they grow up. Next is, now feeble-mindedness, the ideas, the feeble-mindedness of the child was due to dullness of their senses, because the children, they have a very short attention span. So you might be wondering that what could be done for them to extend this attention span. So when they do something meaningful, that we are going to learn in Montessori, that when they do something meaningful, at the end of the activity, there is a sense of achievement. And this activity keeps the child engaged. The child feels that they are doing something meaningful. Too much emphasis is less on the psychology of the child. Discipline must come through liberty. Like I said, it not always when somebody is watching over you, but it is a order, the order of sense of order that is inside, that you experience inside. She introduced a didactic apparatus for self-education. Education must provide proper training of senses. She employed three methods in achieving the aims of education: motor education, training for the head, heart, and body; sensory education with the help of a didactic apparatus; language teaching consists of tests, small balls, cards with letters pasted on them, color boards, and so on. Okay, so now, like I said, Montessori is divided into EPL, exercises of practical life, sensorial, mathematics, language, and storytelling, games, and songs. Storytelling, games, and songs we already had. Now we are going to take up only two today: EPL, exercises of practical life, and sensorial. And before that, we are going to watch a video where we will get to learn about Montessori in a little more detail. Okay, hope you enjoy the video. Makes sense? Guys, is Montessori making a little bit sense to you? I'm trying to introduce the very talented Dr. Maria Montessori to you step by step. Making a little bit sense? Yes? No? Maybe? All right. Now, we are going to watch this video. Thank you. Let me see. I will try and share this video with you, but for that, the video needs to open, which is taking some
Montessori
time.
education.
All right. Give me, give me a second, please. Thank you. Ah, here it is. I love this video. Hope you guys enjoy as well.
Is based on the principles developed by Maria Montessori, who opened her first school for children of low-income workers
Ma'am,
in Rome in 1907. The school was called Casa dei Bambini, Home for Children. This first casa was furnished with a teacher's table, a stove, a blackboard, some chairs, group tables for the children, and a cabinet filled with materials that Montessori developed in her earlier career when she researched how to teach kids who experience some form of mental
Well, guys, are you able to watch this? Is it visible? Yeah? Visible to all of you?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
We'll
Yes,
start
ma'am.
from the beginning. No worries.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
disability. Maria Montessori created the materials after she realized that students seemed to understand complex concepts better when they engaged all their senses. Activities at this first school included personal care, such as dressing and undressing, care of the environment, like sweeping, dusting, and gardening. Otherwise, they were free to move around and play with the materials. Montessori did not teach herself, but instead oversaw the classroom work of her teachers. Montessori observed that children showed episodes of deep concentration and multiple repetitions of the same activity. Given free choice, kids showed more interest in practical activities and the materials than normal toys, sweets, or other rewards. Over time, spontaneous self-discipline emerged. Montessori concluded that working independently, children seemed to reach new levels of autonomy and became self-motivated learners. She began to see the role of the teacher as a facilitator of young human beings who are free to move and act within the limits of a prepared environment. The goal? To grow children to become independent and responsible adults who share a love for learning. Soon after, Montessori herself and her ideas started traveling the world to inspire progressive thinkers and educators from all over. The inventors, Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Edison, became early advocates. Later alumni include Jimmy Wales from Wikipedia, author Gabriel Garcia Marquez, as well as the two Google founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Today, the term Montessori stands more for a method than a school itself. The fact that it can be used freely by anyone led to a great variation of schools. Educators all over the world borrow Montessori's name, insights, and materials to organize kindergartens, elementary schools, special needs programs, or even full 12-year curriculums. Some parents use it for homeschooling. The following characteristics are shared among most programs. Students are free to choose what to learn. Open classrooms that allow free movement. Use of specialized Montessori materials. Mixed age classes from 0 to 3, 3 to 6, or 6 to 12, so children can learn from each other. Uninterrupted blocks of study time, usually 3 hours. No grading or homework, and a trained teacher. Maria Montessori once famously said, "Never help a child with a task at which he feels he can succeed." What are your thoughts on Montessori? Please share your opinions in the comments below.
Okay. So, would you like to see the video once again, guys? Or you got an idea? What should be it? Shall we play the video one more time? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Kalpana says
Okay.
yes. Anybody else who wants the video to be played one more time? Anybody?
Yeah.
Or you got it? Okay. Okay, Lopita wants, Lija wants. Okay, okay. All right. Let's do it once more time quickly.
Montessori education is based on the principles developed by Maria Montessori, who opened her first school for children of low-income workers in an apartment building in Rome in 1907. The school was called Casa dei Bambini, Home for Children. This first casa was furnished with a teacher's table, a stove, a blackboard, some chairs, group tables for the children, and a cabinet filled with materials that Montessori developed in her earlier career when she researched how to teach kids who experience some form of mental disability. Maria Montessori created the materials after she realized that students seemed to understand complex concepts better when they engaged all their senses. Activities at this first school included personal care, such as dressing and undressing, care of the environment, like sweeping, dusting, and gardening. Otherwise, they were free to move around and play with the materials. Montessori did not teach herself, but instead oversaw the classroom work of her teachers. Montessori observed that children showed episodes of deep concentration and multiple repetitions of the same activity. Given free choice, kids showed more interest in practical activities and the materials than normal toys, sweets, or other rewards. Over time, spontaneous self-discipline emerged. Montessori concluded that working independently, children seemed to reach new levels of autonomy and became self-motivated learners. She began to see the role of the teacher as a facilitator of young human beings who are free to move and act within the limits of a prepared environment. The goal? To grow children to become independent and responsible adults who share a love for learning. Soon after, Montessori herself and her ideas started traveling the world to inspire progressive thinkers and educators from all over. The inventors Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Edison became early advocates. Later alumni include Jimmy Wales from Wikipedia, author Gabriel Garcia Marquez, as well as the two Google founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Today, the term Montessori stands more for a method than a school itself. The fact that it can be used freely by anyone led to a great variation of schools. Educators all over the world borrow Montessori's name, insights, and materials to organize kindergartens, elementary schools, special needs programs, or even full 12-year curriculums. Some parents use it for homeschooling. The following characteristics are shared among most programs. Students are free to choose what to learn. Open classrooms that allow free movement. Use of specialized Montessori materials. Mixed age classes from 0 to 3, 3 to 6, or 6 to 12, so children can learn from each other. Uninterrupted blocks of study time, usually 3 hours. No grading or homework, and a trained teacher. Maria Montessori once famously said, "Never help a child with a task at which he feels he can succeed." What are your thoughts on Montessori? Please share your opinions in the comments below.
Thank you guys for your patience. Now, back? Are we all back? Okay, good. Let me see. Thank you so much. Shruti, Priyanka, can I have the cameras on? Somia, I can see